How's it going? My name is Jet the Barber. Today we'll be doing a mid fade. We're gonna be doing some shear work up top. I'll be explaining Suavecito's new shears, new matte shears. They're real nice, real light. The balance is good on them. So we're gonna be showing them off a little bit today during the haircut. Be doing some texture work. Keep a comb in hand, and then we're gonna use your clippers. This is a 3.5 metal, which is a 3 in plastic guards. And we just start right here, setting the base. As I get to the top, I flare out a little bit, just so I'm not creating such a heavy line. It's more bulk and weight, and it's gonna make it easier for you to work with. Once you've done that, you're gonna wanna bald it out next. So we'll be doing a mid fade. I'll be starting more right here, and then curving it up over the ear, bringing it down towards the back so we can give it a nice drop. So what we just did is set our baseline, our bald line, whatever you prefer to call it, all the way around. I dropped it towards the back so that way we won't go too high up top. We'll keep it a little longer, which will help out when styling the hair. This way you don't have a problem with it sticking up or anything like that. So now that we've took the bald line out, we're gonna start working on skinning out the bottom end of this fade. So I'm gonna come back with the trimmer, and I'm just gonna, little things here and there that I wanna nitpick at, just because I wanna keep the fade real nice and clean. I'm gonna go in with the trimmers and just fix that all up, clean it up a little more. And you're gonna come back with the shaver, and you're gonna skin that whole bottom end off. When you do this, don't bring it all the way up to the fade either, because then you're gonna create another line that you're gonna wanna work out. And to prevent that, if that does happen, you're gonna grab the shaver and you're actually gonna come down on the fade. Don't worry about it taking all the hair off there. It won't do that. That's all too long. What it's gonna do is just smooth out that little area that you have problems with. So now that we finished the balding, the skinning process, now what we're gonna do is get rid of all this bulk. Okay, so using our texturizing shears, we're now gonna begin to remove all this little excess up top, get the blend nice and smooth. We're gonna work little areas throughout the fade as well that you might have not caught when you finish the fade up, and then you got some fresh eyes, you go back and you're like, oh hey, here's a little dark area. Well, you're not gonna need to pick up those clippers again, you can just use the thinning shears. So for shear over comb, your basic technique as well, you want to make sure you're holding the shears properly. They don't go in your middle finger. That's, you're not cutting paper. You're gonna put it in your ring finger, flat right there, pinky goes on the pivot, you're good. And you're only moving your thumb. You don't chop, This is how you cut yourself. You're gonna wanna just move the thumb and only the thumb. If it's a little hard for you, a little new, practice, put your finger right here and work it, however it might be, but learn to do that. That's the proper technique, and that's the safest way for you as well, so you don't cut your finger. And you see, I'm keeping one continuous motion. I'm not stopping. I'm just going all the way up, keeping it nice and layered so it's not such a blunt cut in one little area if you over texturize or whatever it might be. Now we're gonna use the tighter side of the comb so we can grab a little more hair and thin out. So we'll start like right here, this little area right there. Just gonna wanna work it a little bit and get all that out. So once you've checked it all out, you like how it looks, you're happy with it, move over to the next side, the next section, and continue the haircut. Going through it all, we'll do a little bit of some straight shear over comb in this area just to get little sections out. Now these shears right here that I'm using are the 6.5 inch matte shears from Suavecito. Like I said earlier, they're really good. I like the balance on them and the weight. They fit perfect on my hand. So the good thing I like about these shears as well is they're Japanese steel. And if you know your shears, you know that Japanese is one of the best ones you can get. So that's another plus on me for that. Notice in these tighter areas, I'm not opening the shears all the way. I'm doing little strokes. The smaller and quicker the stroke, the more it'll be, the more it'll take off and the more precise it'll be for the little areas that you want to get. See that we're keeping one fluid motion the whole way up. Don't be afraid to go in with the texturizing shears. It's not going to take off a lot of length. All it's doing is removing bulk, giving you a smooth transition. So we're moving up to the top section of the haircut. This is the wet portion, right? You did all the dry work already, so that's cool, that's out the way. Now we're going to do the wet work. So I'll be using the Suavecito 6.5 inch shears. I like 6.5, it's nice, it fits comfortably in my hand. It's not too bulky, it's not excessive. It's what you need and it's nice. So we're gonna start with cutting the front section. I use a traveling guideline, not a still guideline. So I'll start with this front section, cut the length I want, and then towards the back, work my way to having it being shorter. You want it shorter back here because you don't need excessive weight here. This will keep all this down when you're trying to style your hair. So get rid of that, go longer to short. So we're just gonna spray them down. All right, so you don't wanna, soak them either, but you wanna keep the hair wet the whole way through. This will give you more control if you're not used to doing shear work. So we're gonna start with our front section right here. A little long right there. We're gonna take about a good ½ inch off and start there. Before you let go of this guide, make sure you're picking up the next one. All right. Now with this section right here, you can see I'm going at an angle. I'm not going straight across. The reason I do this is to maintain this guideline the whole way through the back. So now that I'm done with this front section, I'm gonna pick it up one more time, let go of that section right there so that way it stays there, and then I'm gonna follow all the way through to the other side. So now you're gonna come back, this section right here that you cut, you're gonna lift that up, and that's gonna set your base for the rest of the haircut. All right, and you come back here, again, diagonally. There's your guide right there. You're gonna cut, same thing. This keeps the guideline coming back, so you don't lose it. You don't forget where you are. You don't forget how much you gotta cut off. It's following you, it's traveling with you. Again, you're gonna come back, diagonally grab it, look for your guide, all right? Right there, that little front section. You're gonna cut, okay? You're gonna pick it up and go all the way across. Now this is leaving it real blunt, so we're gonna come back. We're gonna do some point cutting and some slicing to give it some nice texture. That way it shows off once it's all styled. Again, you're gonna come back here, there you go. Look for that guide, set it up, see the guide's right there. That's what you're gonna cut. You're gonna follow it all the way through. And that's a traveling guide. It's not still where it's set down the middle and you're cutting back. So once you've done that, now you're gonna cross check. To cross check for a comb over, they tell you to cross check, the opposite way. For a comb over, I like to cross check diagonally back. The reason I like to do this is I like to leave this just a little bit longer. This will give it a nice shape for when you're done styling it. So we're gonna start from here and we're gonna work our way back. As we're doing this, we're coming back and we're cross checking. This midsection right here, the apex point, is the highest part of the head, right? So the hair is gonna have to be a little shorter here. To keep that balance, when you're coming back, you'll cross this point and it'll tell you, you'll need to know where to cut and what little sections, and that's gonna keep it perfect for the style. So you don't have all this excess weight here doing this check. So you're gonna comb all the hair to that side. You're gonna lift up the front. Now we're gonna do a little bit of point cutting and some slicing to give it some nice texture. With point cutting, lift the hair up, just a point. Come in and cut it. Now make sure you don't cut yourself either. You don't want that happening. So you're gonna pick up a little section and just point cut. You can point cut as much as you want, as little as you want. It's all gonna receive a certain look. So, and you're just gonna do it all the way back. You don't necessarily have to grab certain sections. You can grab wherever you want. The whole point is to create texture in the hair. You want some kind of a flow. You don't want it to look so bland. Now you're gonna slice. I'm gonna wet the hair just a little more. You're gonna bring all the hair forward. Then with the shears, you're gonna open them slightly, all right? And you're gonna follow through. Creating some texture in the hair. Don't close the shears all the way through either, because then you're just gonna chop the hair off and then you're gonna have a really bald line right there. Right. And then just touch-ups. Again, if you see something you need to touch up with the shears, just go back with it. Clean it up just a little bit. So when you start blow drying the hair, blow dry the back section first, all right? You want to get this out the way. You don't need this for this front section of the hairstyle, okay? So you're gonna flat wrap the whole way through. Like I said earlier, you're gonna follow with the brush. You're gonna flat wrap it all the way through. Make sure you get all these little hairs on the swirl down, so that way you have a nice clean canvas in the back. You don't have that weird little alfalfa thing going on, You see I'm drying it all up and I'm going with the swirl, so I'm blow drying with it. When you do this, make sure it's on with heat as well. You want to apply heat to it so you can work with the hair, you can shift the hair, you can have it do whatever it is you want. When you apply heat to the hair, you can shape it however you want. The same way women use flat irons, curling irons, the same thing you can do with a blow dryer. So now you got all that taken care of in the back, you're gonna start working with the front. So right here in this front section, we want to create some lift. You want the hair to be up, not down. This way you can get a nice pomp going here, all right? To do that, you're gonna need hot air again. And a simple technique, if you're not used to grabbing it with the brush, simple technique is just to have it follow through with the brush. So turn the hot air on, point it towards where you want, and just simply guide the air pretty much with the brush. I'll show you. So see, it's a quick little simple step, nothing hard, nothing crazy about it. You're just pointing the blow dryer to where you want the hair to go up, and you're gonna follow it through with the brush. All you're doing is essentially you're giving the air direction. It's flowing here, but you want it to come here, so it's gonna grab it and it's gonna suck it all into that. You're creating a vent in here. The air is going through here, it's gonna stay there and it's gonna help flatten it out. You want to double check with the shears. It's not a necessity, but I like to do it because when the hair is dry, it's sitting at its natural state, at its true length. When the hair is wet, it's a little longer, it's a little, straighter for you. So when you dry it up, you have the hair at where it's naturally going to be at. So I like to go in, point cut a little bit and get some of that extra off, some of that extra weight. So now that we've done and blow dried the hair, it's all set, we checked it, everything's smooth. You're gonna grab the Suavecito matte pomade and you're gonna use it on his hair. Once you've blow dried the hair and it's set and it's in style, you don't need too much product to work with it. I only got this little bit. You're gonna put it on your palm, and you're gonna rub it down. Make sure it gets a little warm, see? It's a lot. So make sure it gets warm, you know, and then kind of just throw it in the hair. Use your fingers in the front section. You don't wanna gunk it in the front. And then towards the back, kind of like lay it down with your palm. Once you got it all in there, you're gonna come back with your brush and brush it all through. Make sure there's no white on there. Make sure you get all the product really rubbed into the hair. All right, cool. So there you have it. We got his hair nice and styled. Nice classic comb over with a mid fade and a drop. All the way through. Did some nice shear work with it. You know, had some fun. Make sure you go check out the new Suavecito shears as well. They're a real great buy. Trust me. They're nice. They're comfortable. They're light. You can have fun with them. They're cool, man. Check them out. I really enjoyed the texturizing shears. They worked real smooth during the whole shear over comb portion of the haircut. I didn't feel a tug on them too much, nothing like that. It was just nice, smooth work all the way through. So definitely go check them out. Check out all their products. And once again, I am Jet the Barber. This is my model, Lawrence. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial, picked something new up. Have a good one.